A new season of Marvel Snap is almost upon us, bringing with it an incredibly powerful new card in Elsa Bloodstone. Elsa's +3 when you fill a location means that she's going to have the potential to give you double digits worth of stats for just 2 points of energy. Cards like Mr. Sinister and Brood that give you multiple bodies into a single location will be excellent with Elsa Bloodstone, as well as things that go wide across the board like Squirrel Girl, Shauna, Mysterio, and Doctor Doom that fill up all 3 locations at once. Elsa Bloodstone will also be very powerful with cards that move around the board like Nightcrawler, Jeff, and Vision, because you're able to fill in the same location multiple times, getting the +3 there lots of times over the course of the game. And finally, Kitty Pryde was recently proactively nerfed because of Elsa Bloodstone's upcoming power with her every turn. If you play Kitty Pryde as the 4th card in a location, she's going to trigger Elsa Bloodstone. The rest of today's video, let's jump on into 6 fantastically fun deck ideas that I think Elsa Bloodstone potentially takes to the next level. In general, I'm not a huge fan of simply taking a stock existing deck that's good and shoving the new card into it for a video like this, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't point out to everybody at home that Elsa is a phenomenal fit into the Iron Patriot deck that I highlighted recently in my best decks video. Mr. Sinister as well as Brood already make this deck fill its locations up quite nicely. You have Absorbing Man to copy those effects to fill an additional location, and you have Iron Lad to gain access to all of the above a little bit more consistently. Most games with this deck before Elsa released, they were already filling 2 or even 3 of your locations, so Elsa is pretty regularly going to be 8 or sometimes even 11 points of power in this deck, which is nothing to scoff at from a card that you're only investing 2 points of energy into. If you're someone who only cares about winning and not experimenting with a new card, I think this deck list that already is an established, powerful base is definitely what I would recommend for the spikes to be playing on day 1 who want to leverage Elsa Bloodstone while also racing their way back to Infinite. If you like the idea of playing Elsa with Patriot, but you want to color a little bit outside the lines and not play the stock tier 1 deck that we highlighted before this, I think this Valkyrie Patriot variation that I've highlighted on the stream and this channel in the past is another excellent fit for our latest season pass card. Specifically, we have Squirrel Girl as well as Mysterio as very efficient ways to fill the board for low energy amounts. I think this deck list is going to offer a ton of surprise to your opponent in the final turn of the game, where they'll be guessing exactly how many stat boosts you're going to get from your Elsa. Imagine there's a turn 6 where you set up Squirrel Girl plus Mysterio plus a 3 energy card like Patriot or Dazzler, and then followed up with a Wasp as well, and suddenly you're filling 8 spots on the board in a way that's going to be difficult for your opponent to predict and leverage massive boosts from Elsa. This deck, leveraging Valkyrie, not only works well with all of our low cost, low power things that are filling up the board, but with Shuri being on the rise, like I recently highlighted in my best decks video, I think Valkyrie is a quite good anti-meta pick as well that also synergizes cleanly with the rest of what this deck list is doing. Elsa works well with Valkyrie as well, because typically you're going to want to play Valkyrie and then follow up something else in her path to break the symmetry that she's created, and Elsa's going to make that final thing bigger, making it easier for you to win the Valk lanes. Our next Elsa deck idea is one that's looking to trigger her effect in all 3 locations by filling up the board with a flood of 1 energy cards. Squirrel Girl as well as Shauna for just 4 energy can put 7 bodies into play on the final turn of the game. And because we are looking to flood the board with 1 energy cards, that makes Khazar a very natural inclusion, giving all of them +1 stat. Because this deck is looking to end the game with 12 things in play, Dazzler as well as Blue Marvel become obvious ongoing inclusions as well that we'll be able to leverage to high efficiency. The last few slots in this deck are largely filled out by tech and utility cards. We have Nightcrawler and Jeff the Baby Landshark as ways to get into hard to reach locations that also let us potentially trigger Elsa Bloodstone more than once in the same path if we fill them in as the last card and then move them out later. Finally, we have Mobius, Snow Guard, and Armor as utility cards that not only mitigate some location variants, but also offer key disruption, or in Mobius' case, anti-disruption against things like Wave, so we can execute our game plan while the opponent might stumble on their own. The first few deck lists we highlighted in today's video are looking to fill every location by the end of the game, thus getting Elsa's +3 3 times. This next deck list is the first that's looking to still get that +3 more than once over the course of the game, but in a little bit different manner. Thanks to cards like Nightcrawler, Jeff, and Vision being able to move around the game board, we can set up a single path where we're playing a fourth card into it multiple times over the course of the game to get that +3 from Elsa again and again and again, while only ever having 4 cards in a single location. Because we're looking to move things and play a bunch of cards to a single location, Angela as well as Kraven become phenomenal 2 energy plays to get absolutely massive over the course of the game. And this is our first deck list today that also happens to include Kitty Pryde, who, while recently nerfed, is going to still be incredibly powerful with Elsa Bloodstone. Every single turn, you play Kitty Pryde out as the 4th card into Angela's path. Not only will Kitty Pryde get +3 from Elsa, 1 from bouncing back to the hand, and 2 from Angela, which is generating 6 points of stats for just 1 energy. The last couple of cards in this deck are tech cards that provide some solid utility for us. Snow Guard helps mitigate location variants. Armor can protect our big cards from things like Shang-Chi. Mobius insulates us against opposing waves, restricting our final turn of the game. And Luke Cage is not only excellent into opposing metagame threats like High Evolutionary, but he also ensures that Shadow King, which is a tech card that's been on the rise, can't take power away from our Angela, Kraven, or Kitty Pryde. Our next deck list is one that's always near and dear to my heart. I'm always looking for potential upgrades for it, and that is the Bounce variations. Falcon returning all 1 energy cards to our hand means that we can fill a location with 1-drops and other things and trigger Elsa, pick some of those back up so we can refill that location again after the fact. This deck list is a phenomenal Bast deck. Every card that we are playing either gets bigger or stays the same when a Bast gives it setting to 3 power, and Bast does a phenomenal job of making the fact that Collector and Kitty Pryde got nerfed recently not matter, since setting them to 3 doesn't matter if they were starting from 0 or 2. One thing that's noteworthy about this particular build is that in order to fit in Elsa and other recent additions like Snow Guard and Mobius, I did have to trim the copy of Beast. It's definitely going to be something worth experimenting. Does Elsa give us enough extra stats that we don't need the additional bounce effect? Beast is also a card that's been a touch worse post Mobius being added to the metagame, since you don't consistently get his cost reduction. I also think that it was important that we fit a critical density of 1 energy cards into this deck, so not only Falcon can work efficiently, but also we're filling those lanes more consistently to not only get Elsa's effect in 1 path, but multiple over the course of the game. Our final Elsa deck idea today is looking to blend a mixture of all of the previous decks into one delectable cocktail to get the most out of Marvel Snap's new 2-drop, with Mr. Sinister and Brood creating multiple bodies, and Absorbing Man spreading that across the second location in tandem with Mysterio to help fill things up. We're interested in filling all 3 of our paths by the end of the game to get +3. At the same time, we're also leveraging Angela in conjunction with Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde, so one of the 3 paths that we're filling up has the potential to get that +3 from Elsa more than once over the course of the game, and to tie the whole room together, because all of these cards have low base powers, and things like Mr. Sinister and Brood love getting their power boosted. We have Bast in the mix as well, bringing everything up to a base of 3 in a number of the games that we're playing. We even get to add a little bit of technology in Mobius and Luke Cage to make sure our opponents can't disrupt us in meaningful ways, and I think this last one has a lot of potential to make Elsa be double digits in most of the games that she's played. I'd love to know what deck ideas you're looking forward to trying Elsa Bloodstone in. If you liked my musings on this topic, be sure to snap that like button, and be sure you're subscribed to the channel. I post Marvel Snap content here almost every single day of the week. I'd love to see you back again sometime. Good luck in the new season, and happy brewing.